Hello, my darlings. Welcome to Storytime with SakuAi. Thank you for choosing me for your adventure. This is it, just you and me, and the world you create around you. So let's begin. So today's going to be a little different than usual. I do believe an introduction is in order. My name is Ai, and I like to think that I'm a storyteller. Now, I won't bore you with my life story. It's rather uninteresting, but I have been writing for my whole life. I adore fantasies, romance, sci-fi, horror, whatever takes my fancy. And I hope my channel will welcome you into my world with open arms. Just a little bit of truth before we get into the storytelling part. I had initially wanted to start this channel mostly for myself, my insanity, and for memory's sake. Sometimes taking pictures just doesn't seem enough anymore. It was supposed to be a travel vlog for me and my best friend who lives all the way in America. I hope that after this virus that will not be named, I'll finally get to see her where she is rather than the other way around. So let me tell you a story. As I told you before, this is a little bit different than what the channel really is supposed to be, but we'll get to that. Let me tell you instead about how I met my best friend and the wholesome disasters that followed after. I met my best friend Angel on the wonderful site we call Tumblr. We clicked almost immediately over our interests, and well, I thought she was amazing. Immediately we had started talking and haven't stopped since. But our friendship really solidified when we finally met one another face to face. Angel hadn't ever left America, but I've left the UK many times, so I thought I'd go to her first. Of course that didn't happen, because getting a visa and looking the way I do was never going to be a possibility. That and the cankerous madman who'd come to power was stopping anything that didn't look like him from entering the country. But that's a rant for another time. We tried, but it was unsuccessful. So instead, she bit the bullet and came to me. And it was indeed fantastic. It was her first time out of the country, and it was my first time having a best friend over who actually cared for me. It was so different to what I was used to. I know she hadn't been around the world much, and honestly, I wanted to take her everywhere. We went to London a few times, of course, and toured my local town, did the whole thing really, but that just wasn't enough for me. I had plans after all. We had this thing about letters. As Potterheads, we'd always wanted to get our Hogwarts letter. Still technically waiting, Dumbledore. So I worked on that and created handwritten and hand-drawn letters for the days I had set up for us to go out and do things. The first letter was to go to Paris, because she had always wanted to go to the Eiffel Tower. I had given it to her the night before the flight, and she was so excited that we barely slept that night. We sang Paris Holds the Key to Our Heart from Anastasia on the plane, really loudly. I mean, obviously moving jovially onto Disney classics because, you know, Paris. No one seemed to mind. Everyone was either a parent or a child, and they too were singing or laughing. So it didn't really matter how overly excited we were, and we were very excited. During the trip, we met an amazing woman and her husband who were going to Disneyland for their anniversary, without their children. Honestly, she will always be my #future goals. We arrived to the city and had sought to walk around Paris first. Unfortunately, it was really cold and it started raining, so we had to taxi through most of it, but we didn't let the horrid weather get to us. She seemed happy enough though. We went to the Louvre first and spent a good few hours looking at every single thing. I kid you not. There was every single thing in there. We even checked out the bins. I had been told off for her for trying to read the scriptures on the tablets and the statues, because of course it would be me doing something as stupid as bringing some form of demonic entity out into the world. We gawked at the statues, skipped past school children, meandered along hallways admiring the exhibits. We were filled with wonder at the majesty around us. After a good few hours, where we had more fun looking at the other paintings than being stuck in the crowd leading up to Mona Lisa herself, though sure the painting was amazing and inspiring and very beautiful once we saw it, The pomp and circumstances, on the other hand, had made me think it was a lot bigger than what it was. It had been beautiful, yet guarded off. With only a few seconds to see and a crowd growing behind us, we instead sought to take a picture and continue on. The rest of the place was just as amazing. Each room was unique and beautiful and so inspiring. We felt like olden-time duchesses going through our stately home. Once we had our fill of the art gallery, we took a trip to the Eiffel Tower, as you do. Now, I had been there many times before, so the shock and awe you usually get at something so beautiful was low at best for me. I had a bit of antipathy for the city. I've never really been fond of Paris or any major city, to be quite honest. But seeing her so enthralled with the steel and metal construction, it made me happy and excited. It was actually quite amazing to me. It made me see the entire place in a new light. We went to the first floor, which was packed with bodies. I had her sample macaroons, because unfortunately I'm allergic, and we purchased matching keychains, because we wanted to do the whole best friend thing. And we saw the spectacular sights of the city from our perch. It looked beautiful, even on such a cloudy day. I still feel absolutely awful that I couldn't take her to Notre Dame. She had been so desperate to go. She had a thing about the hunchback, but it had been raining so much, and the cathedral had already closed by the time we were done. And after all that, we'd just been so tired that we just wanted to go back to the hotel, find a place to eat, and then sleep. This was when my next letter came. I hadn't told her a thing about it, and honestly, she didn't expect anything more than this. I mean, Paris, come on. So when I gave her the letter and a t-shirt, and told her we were going to Disneyland the next day, safe to say she was ecstatic and very angry at me keeping secrets. Oh well, I know she was worth this and so much more. So I've never actually been to any of the Disneylands, so I was extremely excited to go. The shirts I made for us had been something I'd wanted to do as well. Well, they were Kingdom Hearts ones, because we were sadly too old to dress up as the Disney characters and go. However, I have always wanted to do dress up and go to a Disneyland. Hell, I don't even mind dressing up as a Kingdom Hearts character and going to even a Disney store. But alas, the time still has not come. I told her to get to bed early because we needed to get the car to the theme park early the next morning. Of course we didn't do that. We stayed up watching movies, Disney ones, non-Disney ones. I mean, we didn't really focus on one thing. But we are idiots. We slept for probably 3 hours combined. Again, idiots. We woke up a little later than expected, packed up all of our things, and were out of the hotel within the hour. We hadn't had time for breakfast, so we ate the baguettes we had purchased the night before from the local pastry shop, and we ate it in the car. We kind of split it and ate it like we were orphan children and Aladdin had given us bread, which, fair play for where we're going. There's just something about Disneyland that really does seem magical. The weather had turned amazing from the downpour the night before. The sun was peeking out and there was a slight cool breeze, which kind of made it perfect to travel. Much like with the Louvre, we went everywhere, going on a few rides. Well, we were too enthralled with the childlike wonder of the park. It was surprisingly full for the weather. We acted like children. Well, we were children. The biscuits from the cocoa set were amazing, and I think that's all we ate the entire time we were there. We sang songs, Disney ones of course, played around, explored to our heart's content, and had what I think was an amazing time. I have now become a Disney kid. Hopefully she had fun too. She seemed happy. We met Snow White in the castle because she was the princess that was there, and she was absolutely stunning. And such a nice person. Her actress was phenomenal, and I am so happy we got to meet her. She's the one that told us about the parade. I, unfortunately, had not been aware. My planning for this was very last minute. The parade itself had been spectacular. We got there a little bit early, got front seats so we could see everything. But what made it more so was when Angel tried to get a picture of Belle and Beast for me. Now they are my favourite prince and princess of the Disney fandom. She had scrabbled with her camera, almost dropping it in the process, but we had been too enthralled with the music and the wonder, the mechanics, the dances. the prince and princesses and the wonder of it all. We also got Tiana and Prince Naveen's pictures for her. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get really good ones, so I thought to take her hand, weave our way through the crowds, and go to the other side of the park as soon as possible. I needed to get her that picture. And coincidentally, we got amazing pictures of Belle and Beast too. I mean, we almost knocked down an empty pushchair, which, thank goodness it was empty. And I am so sorry for whomever's pushchair that we accidentally pushed. Once the parade was said and done, we met a familiar face. It was the woman from the plane, the one who came with her husband by herself, sans her kids. Again, hashtag future goals. We had some small talk. See, I hadn't told anyone that we were going to Disney, so when we spoke in the plane, I couldn't give it away. They had to go, unfortunately, and we had a flight to catch. When it got time to go, the park had to close after all. We said goodbye to Paris and returned to jolly old England. Did I really just say that? The next trip was to central London. We went to the Shard, Planet Hollywood, the London Eye, of course, which was extremely frightening for me. I have a thing about heights, okay? We passed Buckingham Palace and went to watch Wicked at the West End, which, okay, I've seen that a fair few times, but it's still so amazing. Then came White Day, March 14th, the day of reckoning. The whole reason for these letters, so. I had been stealthy and had gotten us both to try and watch all 7 Harry Potter movies before the big day itself. We probably got through the first 3. We've just been so busy doing all the amazing things that we could while she was here. The reason why? Well, it's because this time the letters were from Hogwarts themselves. Well, not literally, but I did my best. I did the whole Hogwarts letter, the train tickets, the personalised acceptance letter, personalised envelope, supplies list, and even a miniature Marauders map. Now, if I could have done the wax seal, I definitely would have, but unfortunately, I am not that skilled. We took the train, as propos, took the Harry Potter bus, and then finally we were at Hogwarts. Well, the Harry Potter world. We looked at every single thing. I see a pattern emerging here, and it was absolutely amazing. We saw all of the costumes, took pictures as Quidditch players, and as the bad guys in Azkaban. We tried to do every single thing. I wanted to get us some robes to wear for the day as well, but it was rather last minute. I still feel a bit bad. The robes were a bit too expensive at the exhibit, but hey, I hope we had a good time. Let me be clear here. I in no way condone what J.K. Rowling did. It was horrible and awful, and I do not condone it at all, but that does not dampen the love I have for Harry Potter. I love the stories and the movies, and a little part of me always will. The author was awful, but the stories live on. I mean, well, let's not get into that, shall we? We had butterbeer and butterbeer flavoured ice cream, which, to be honest, isn't as bad as I thought. I went on the train, saw Privet Drive, and did the whole Potter thing. It was amazing. The next few days, we went back to London. We did the SeaWorld and the Sea Life, which again was amazing. I absolutely adore aquariums. She loves rays, sea pancakes as she calls them, and I absolutely adore octopus. We saw the rays, but the octopus enclosure was closed, unfortunately. And then she had to go. I was extremely sad. We promised to see each other in November because, well, we couldn't stay too far apart. But again, that didn't happen. Visas were sparsely given and there was a lot of medical issues I had to go through, so yeah, that didn't happen. Cut to 2019 instead, where she came to me again, and this time we had cosplayed. We went to conventions and we themed the whole thing. We even went to the local anime and comic book convention, and my town is not known to have them. We dressed up as Final Fantasy characters and Black Butler characters and took many, many pictures. This time it was just a mellow relaxation holiday. We didn't want to do too much. When I was finally planning to go to her in 2020, I had the visa, I had the tickets, I had the time off work and everything, but then the virus that will not be named happened. Okay, so the point to this whole story, other than the fact that it seems I will probably never be able to go to America and see my best friend like I've wanted to, and the fact that getting into America as a brown tourist is nigh impossible. It's that, well, pictures don't do any justice for me. Written words and voicing these things out helps me too, which is why I had thought to start a travel blog, and which is why I'm doing this now. So yes, this is what I'm going to be doing. I want to tell you stories. I want to role play with you. I want to try and take you on an adventure when your day is dreary and low and you just want to pick me up, or if you're interested in just closing your eyes and immersing yourself into a fantasy. I'll try and blog like this, just to get my frustrations out as I can, but my channel is mostly just going to be stories. Stories not like this one. This was more personal. I want to write stories and tell you stories that are fun, that are relaxing, that can make you feel emotion if need be. But we can get there slowly. I hope you like me enough to subscribe. If not, hell, just having you listen to me rant has been lovely. Thank you for choosing on coming to this adventure with me. I'll see you soon.